When the new season's fixtures are released, eager eyes are drawn to certain matchups and specific weekends. For fans of Wellington Phoenix and Auckland FC, it's the derbies against the other that immediately grab the attention, get tongues wagging and blood pumping, and have supporters counting down the days in keen anticipation. Unsurprisingly, there's been plenty of chat this week, verbal jousting between coaches and players, shots fired back and forth, mischievous mascots and cheeky fan banter. That can all now come to an end, and the feet of 32 footballers can instead do the talking and narrate the next chapter in what is already a fierce and passionate rivalry on and off the grass. Welcome to Season 2, Derby 1, as Wellington Phoenix host Auckland FC live here on Sky Sport. What a turnout from fans of both sides. The Auckland FC faithful have made the trip. Yellow fever in good attendance. Jacob Spoonley alongside in commentary as the teams prepare to take to the grass. What's inside the minds of these players as they take to the field, Jake?
To be frank, the 3 points on offer are an afterthought. Despite the odds and the opponent, there is hope in the capital, a legitimate narrative of revenge waiting to be realised. But the black and blue defensive behemoth has rolled into town and set to collide with Chief V's rebellion.
Steely determination on the face of Wellington Phoenix skipper Alex Rufer. He has been here before, as has Jake Brimmer. Derbies not new to him. Melbourne derbies, New Zealand derbies. Last time he was here, 2 goals for Jake Brimmer. Dan Hall set to be a key participant, as is Sam Cosgrove, off the mark last week with a goal against Adelaide. Ifeanyi Eze, 2 goals already in 3 games for the Nigerian striker. Let's have a look at how the teams line up. Giancarlo Italiano makes 1 injury-enforced change to the side that started the 1-1 draw with the Mariners on Sunday. Japanese attacker Hideki Ishiga out for the season with an ACL injury he suffered in that match. He's replaced in the starting 11 by Rami Nazarene, who himself returns from injury and becomes the first player to play in the Sydney derby, the Melbourne derby, the F3 derby, the Westgate victory versus Western United derby, and now the New Zealand derby. After using the same starting 11 in the last 2 matches of the season, Steve Corica is also forced into a change to the side that started the 2-1 win over Adelaide United a week ago. Skipper Hiroki Sakai limped off early last Saturday with a hamstring strain. Callan Elliott comes in to replace him at right back, as he did in that match. He'll start against his former club for the first time tonight. Sam Cosgrove leads the line, having opened his A-League account last weekend. Contrasting views on the benches. There are 5 all-whites on Auckland's bench and Chilean import Felipe Gallegos. By contrast, everyone apart from Dan Edwards, who would be on debut on the Knicks bench, is under the age of 23. A battle on the grass, a battle in the stands. This is Steve Corica's 16th match as a head coach against Wellington Phoenix. 10 wins, 2 draws and just 3 defeats. As a player for Sydney FC, he had 5 wins and 3 losses against the Knicks and scored in the last 2 of those games to help the Sky Blues to victories in 2009-10. Phoenix head coach Giancarlo Italiano spent the morning out and about in Wellington. He bought 100 tickets with his own money and gave them out to delighted fans around the city. He goes in search of his first win and, in fact, his first ever points against Auckland FC tonight. Ben Abraham's our referee. He also controlled the 3rd New Zealand derby last season, assisted today by Matthew McCorist and Isaac Trevis. Kelvin Berg is our 4th official. Adam Kersey standing by in VAR if required, assisted by Hugh Fenton-White. Marshalling of Ifeanyi Eze is one of the game's most important tasks, and it falls mainly to that man, Dan Hall, one of the best man markers in the competition. Jake Brimmer with the armband, set to lock horns in the engine room of this match with his opposing skipper, Alex Rufer, a proud Phoenix Centurion, and set to play a huge part in this one. What a vista, what an occasion. It has become appointment viewing. The clock reaches 0 and we're underway at Sky Stadium in New Zealand Derby #1 this season. Choose your colours. Wellington Phoenix in gold and black. Attacking the goal to the left of the screen. Auckland FC in their white away strip, kicking from left to right in the first half. Both sides unbeaten this season. Auckland FC won all 3 last season with 10 goals in those 3 games, and they've already defeated the High Line. Jesse Randall, Cosgrove! 28 seconds is all it took for the High Line to be defeated, and for Sam Cosgrove to score his 2nd goal in 2 games. We talked about it being a risky tactic, and so it has proven to be. Most fans hadn't even taken their seats. Sam Cosgrove opens the scoring early.
Well, Sam Cosgrove opens up old wounds and sends Wellington spiralling into silence. Jesse Randall holds his run, waits for Cosgrove to get back on side, and that is as easy and as early as you like. The machine grinds on, an emotionless execution gives way to a celebration infused with feeling down the far end. The Port love that. Colour is out early, and they are loud.
Well, Sam Cosgrove with the hand to the ear in the universal celebration of I Can't Hear You Now. He can hear them at the other end, 100 metres away. A jubilant Port watching Sam Cosgrove tap home the opening goal. Paul Eiffel is sidelined. They're waiting to see if the offside line had indeed not been breached.
Yeah, I think they're checking Piney.
Paul, you talked about the High Line and how dangerous it was pre-game. Goodness gracious me.
Piney, it goes back to what we talked about. Is the goal's been given. The goal's been given. The High Line is a dangerous proposition, and obviously Auckland have been doing their homework all week on it, and to score so early is an uphill battle now for the Phoenix.
Well, Wellington's high risk has become Auckland's high reward. It is an all-in tactic. They pushed up with speed, but what we're going to see here is Cosgrove attracts all the attention, Randall busts through, and then he ambles to catch up with Jesse Randall, who returns the favour, puts it on a plate and puts it in the back of the net.
Auckland FC have never lost a game in which they've scored the first goal. It's now happened 23 times in the previous 22. 18 wins and 4 draws. Wellington Phoenix are going to have to do it the hard way, but they do have a set-piece situation to be addressed by Carlo Amiento. Aim for Eze. Nazarene is there. Brimmer gets it away. Loke looking to win something and has won a corner on the far side. Jesse Randall tracking back that time.
Well, that looked lost, but Schwinn Loke, very innovative. Realised the ball was slipping away from him. Lovely little back heel. Caught Randall all by surprise. Within the space of a minute, the Wellington Phoenix will have 2 set pieces. This was a point of danger for the Wellington Phoenix, especially last time out against the Brisbane Roar here in Wellington. I'm not sure he's crossing. I think Amiento is shooting for that near post.
A throng of players in and around Michael Vowd, standing out in pink. Amiento addresses it towards the near post, and yeah, there you go, Jacob Spoonley. Shooting perhaps. Amiento going to get the chance to recycle. And we can all breathe. Goal kick. Well, Giancarlo Italiano wanted his team to be brave, to show courage. As we look at this corner again, dealt with by Vowd.
Well, we knew Vowd would be tested. The Wellington Phoenix need to put him under pressure. There's a lot of traffic in that near post, and Veld stood up tall.
So what do Wellington Phoenix do now with their high line, having it breached so early at high cost, the game's opening goal? What do they do?
Well, you'll see there Sam Cosgrove intentionally standing offside. There are players looking over their shoulder, and Schwinn Loke, the youngster, gets sucked back because of that. He puts Randall only marginally onside, and that is the discipline that the Wellington Phoenix need to keep themselves to. It literally will come down to the width of a boot, and that's what we saw there, was ultimately the difference between onside and offside. The more important thing tactically, though, is Cosgrove is going to stand offside. He wants to be in the shadow of this high line, and that means the runs from Randall, from Brook, from Mai, they can't get excited. They need to hold them off.
Here's Eze now trying to make an impact at the other end. Callan Elliott puts it behind for another corner. Ifeanyi Eze, Nigeria, Libya, Iraq, and now in the Isuzu UTE League.
We're talking about runs for Auckland FC. Let's talk about the man that makes plenty of them for the Wellington Phoenix. Eze started central, drifted wide to come back in on Veld's goal. Wins another set piece for the Phoenix.
Nagasawa's going to address this one. Not quite as big a throng in the area. Vestrada gets it away. Rufa's going to scamper across and recycle in the sunshine. Combines with Roa Conchi. Doesn't get the cross that he was after. I think everybody expected a free kick to be forthcoming there. Ben Abraham was okay with all of it. Amiento and Brimmer toe-to-toe, and Brimmer wins that particular battle.
Wearing the armband in the absence of Hiroki Sakai. Jake Brimmer, expect him to be covering every single blade of grass, especially in his defensive half.
Long throw in coming from Lucas Kelly-Hill to Eze. It's off the head of Callan Elliott, and it'll be another corner. So already 3 corners inside the first 7 minutes for Wellington. They've had 16 now this season, still haven't scored from one.
The trendy long throw, that time being employed by Lucas Kelly-Hill. Another demonstration of how Eze can turn a half chance into a set piece for the Phoenix, or a difficult situation for Auckland to have to manage.
So Amiento's going to wrap his accurate left boot around this one towards the near post. And arriving Isaac Hughes tried to divert that one goalwards.
What's been noticeable is in the dangerous set pieces that the Wellington Phoenix have been able to produce in the first 10 minutes or so, Isaac Hughes is throwing himself at the ball. He and Eze collided for the free kick immediately after Auckland scored. And he is somebody that has huge motivation, especially after scoring an own goal in the derbies last year, to get Wellington Phoenix back on equal terms.
Such a contrast too. The first goal in Derby 1 last season here came in the 89th minute. It came before the 32nd mark today. A complete contrast. Wellington, though, have not dwelt on it since the goal went in. They've had 3 corners, they've had a bit of intent. Auckland FC, though, only the 1 goal conceded so far this season in 3 matches, and that was Luka Jovanovic's strike just before half-time last weekend. Wellington have 5 goals in their 3 games so far this season, so they've been relatively prolific. A couple here last time they played at home.
And especially considering how they started against Perth Glory. They weren't deterred by going behind to Perth Glory away from home, so expect them to bite back early.
Here's Eze! Biting back, and how? He finds Eze into the top corner, and Wellington are level in the derby.
Eze with a strike to respond for the Phoenix. They have a foothold in the fixture. What a way to wash away the anguish of conceding after 28 seconds. That is tonic, Piney. The capital is on his feet.
Paul Eiffel, spectacular.
That's an unbelievable strike, Piney. He does well It's a terrible pass there. He just strides onto it, takes a little look. I love the little look. Checks to see where the keeper is and then backs himself from distance. It's an inch-perfect finish. Fantastic from Eze. The two we talked about in the pre-match, Cosgrove and Eze on the score sheet within 10 minutes.
Love that from you, Ify, and look at the reach, at the desperation of Val, the reaction of Corica. Eze beats them both with a superb strike.
The derby is bubbling already. Jake Brimmer, the man to give the ball away. Such a proud footballer. Scorer of a brace here a year ago, but giving up possession, and Ify Eze, 3 goals now in this, his 4th outing.
Well, excitement from Eze. Work rate. He almost puts the result, however it's tracking, aside and keeps battling away. Got himself a half yard there, but for the youngsters at home, look at the little stutter step we're going to see here. Composure from 20 yards out. A curling effort with pace on it. Val big, but not big enough.
That's Ify's observation there that I love. He does have a little look. It's only a glance. It's a split second just to calibrate in his mind where Val is. Just a terrific goal to allow Yellow Fever to find their voice once more. There was doubt before the season started about the effectiveness of Ify Eze. How would he adjust? How would he fit in? How many goals would he score? Well, the answer's 3 so far this season, and who knows how many more are to come.
Well, we've gone from silence to the atmosphere in here fizzing. Talk about volatility. We've seen it in the stands as much as we've seen it on the field. Let's have a look at this angle. This is a beautiful shot. Right over the shoulder of Michael Val. Gerwin Wright almost acts as a visual block. Val has to wait, and look at that. Fingertips from Val, but can only steer it inside the post.
The derby has well and truly started here in Wellington. Special welcome to everybody watching around the country and across the Tasman, in particular those who are crammed into the official Auckland FC watch party at Tyler Street in Auckland. Great to have you with us. I can imagine the volume when Sam Cosgrove hit the net, and maybe the silence when Eze returned the favour. What we do have is a football match that is fizzing. De Vries looking for Cosgrove. Can't get the purchase he was after. And Wellington should be able to clear their line through Armiento.
Well, what we saw there is the first look at Sam Cosgrove posting up at the back stick. Let's also note Josh Oluwaemi, 40, 50 yards from goal, on the full, heads it away. That is exactly what Giancarlo Italiano will be looking for. Well, let's have a look here. Here is where Cosgrove is going to live, the back post bully. Lucas Kelly-Hill, the youngster. He has got an absolute machine on his hands in Cosgrove. He is going to need to grow up quickly today, Piney.
Just on Josh Oluwaemi as well, Ify, to play a high line, you need to keep it a sweep, right? And maybe 30 seconds in, he didn't expect he'd have to, but that is a key part of this, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I thought he was caught unawares. I just don't think he saw it coming, like you said, and all of a sudden the ball's in the back of the net. But I'm down here, obviously, pretty close, and Chiefy is as animated as I've ever seen him. He has got the red ball in his hand for most of the game, and I think he's going to need it. Every time the Phoenix lose the ball, he's up, getting the ball. He wants them pressing, because if they get a second to get their head up, it's going to be played over the top. But he's trying to keep that high line as high as possible.
What's interesting is that Auckland currently hold 59% of possession. It feels like Wellington are starting to push the game into Auckland's half, and I'm surprised that Auckland have the better of the ball, because Wellington are a side that have had 71% possession on average over the course of their first 3 games. They're going to want to control the match with the ball, especially now that it's 1-1.
Well, everybody can take a wee breath. A good crowd. The Port have turned up in numbers. There they are, and that goal hasn't dampened their enthusiasm. It certainly helped Yellow Fever get off or over their 30-second malaise at the start of the game.
Only 15 minutes, Jason, and I still think the stadium's filling. We're seeing more and more people piling in here in Wellington. Maybe news of the excitement that we've already seen.
There is Chiefy, as Ivy said, bottom of screen there, up and about and gesticulating and encouraging. Here's Loke. Schwinn-Loke, the under-20 international, in for Tim Payne for an extended period. Schwinn-Loke set up the goal last weekend for Eze.
Well, a lot for that man to ponder, Giancarlo Italiano. Corica, though, cuts a figure of a frustrated man at the moment. He knew that his side had done enough, that exploited what I imagine they'd seen time and again during the week, that high line. Unfortunately, a mistake from Brimmer has let Auckland back in, sorry, Wellington back in.
Sloppy pass from Pastrana there as well, and Eze happy enough to put in a robust challenge on Callan Elliott. Ben Abraham, just a cautionary word in the ear of Ifeanyi Eze. Is Callan Elliott, who didn't really play a big part in the derbies last season, missed the first two and only played a small part in the third. And talk about animation, there's an animated coach and his staff in the background.
Jonathan Gould joining in late on there for good measure. I think a subplot that perhaps we haven't explored enough, but we're going to see a lot of, is Callan Elliott up against Carlo Armiento. Armiento already with 2 goals. Callan Elliott loves getting forward. So in my mind, the question is, who's going to ask, do you want to come with me? Are you going to retreat back?
Callan Elliott had 4 seasons here in Wellington, 2018-19 to 2019-20. Then he was away at Greece, or in Greece at Xanthi, came back for 2 more seasons. De Vries. Now Brimmer. Here's Mive, hardly called his name, but he's freed up. Callan Elliott! And Carlo Armiento, well, roles reversed. The defender attacking, the attacker defending.
Armiento, we've already seen him with fireworks at his feet here in Sky Stadium. This time, he has to block the shot from Callan Elliott, and you could see what Elliott was wanting to do there. Perhaps could have taken that on a bit further. Could he have forced the issue?
Now the long throw from Elliott towards Cosgrove. Sam Cosgrove with a sided goal, he spurns it. Back down to Mai. Up into Yellow Fever. I thought Cosgrove had a pretty good look there, didn't he?
I think Cosgrove perhaps thought too much on that one. Perhaps he could have gone with instinct here. He's already caused enough. It's his presence that creates the half chance. Can he? Snapshot. He's actually got time there because Lucas Kelly-Hield is a half-yard off him, which is not where the defender wants to be.
Paul, you mentioned to me during the women's game that you like it when a player shoots through bodies. Cosgrove could have, couldn't he?
Finally, so many goals are scored at this level with deflections, you know. You can't see daylight all the time, especially in the box. Get it, hit it into the ground. The turf is very wet out there.
Eze rips one into the box. No recipient in yellow for Wellington. Plenty of Wellington connections in this Auckland FC side, as well as Callan Elliott. Substitutes Logan Rogerson and Ollie Sale both had time at Wellington Phoenix, as did goalkeeping coach Jonathan Gould. Jesse Randall had time at Wellington Olympic. Nando Painika, Liam Gillian, Western Suburbs. Here's Luke. Randall tracks him all the way. Eze's popping up everywhere, and an errant pass that time. Cosgrove looking to link up play. Nazarene. Remy Nazarene hasn't played the last 2 games with injury. Back out there.
The inevitable collisions have occurred. Perhaps not as many sparks as we'd be expecting, but both sides at the moment trying to lay claim to the all-important middle. The Phoenix working their way side to side, and this is where they want to settle into a rhythm. This is where the Wellington Phoenix feel most comfortable. Unfortunately, this is also where Auckland are able to hold any given team in the A-League at arm's distance. They are so disciplined, so well structured defensively.
Hughes looking for the run of Loke, who's got him behind De Vries, but can he keep it in? He has, but no power on the cross. Bout untroubled. Here's Brook, another looking to try and get into the game, Lockie Brook. Foul just making it a little bit difficult for Callan Elliott. He does win the throw, though. Wellington Phoenix away draws at Perth Glory and Central Coast this season. They beat Brisbane 2-1 here in round 2. Auckland FC, a 0-0 draw to open their season. Back-to-back wins against Western Sydney and Adelaide United. They are currently, as we speak, at the top of the table. Double derby delight for you tonight. The 50th Melbourne derby at Amy Park to follow this match. Rematch of last season's grand final.
And this is where the match is going to be earned. This is where the sides will need to prove it.
Well, that's gone the way of Auckland FC. Sam Cosgrove and Lucas Kelly-Heald together. And animation there as the two combatants stay down.
You can hear the Wellington Phoenix bench there remonstrating with the assistant referee, asking him to help the referee. They feel that Lucas Kelly-Heald is the player that's fouled here. It's a tussle. And I think Cosgrove's entitled to go down there, but what we're going to see is a grapple, and he's going to twist Kelly-Heald over the top of him and onto that right shoulder. And Kelly-Heald has stayed down. You can see him there. Discomfort rather.
Well, that footage has been played on the big screen here, and I'm not sure it met with universal agreement. To tell you that Director of Football with Auckland FC, Terry McFlynn, has come up high to have a look. Normally, he spends time elsewhere. He is alongside us in our commentary position, arms folded, and a stern look on his face. In the meantime, Randall and De Vries.
Well, Auckland like the look of this one. Keep an eye on Cosgrove at the back post.
De Vries towards Cosgrove. Isaac Hughes with a very important header. Auckland FC come again through Mai. Guillermo Mai lines it up into the back of Kelly-Heald. Auckland FC come again, Mai. Marufa tidies up in the penalty area.
Well, that was cheeky from Mai. Looked like he was going to play on his left and just allowed Kelly-Heald to drop off even further, trying to get it into the run of De Vries on his right foot. Good and a bit of play there from the number 10.
Kelly-Heald eventually got the ball to Schwinn Loke on the far side. He and Randall together, and roughhouse tactics spotted by Ben Abraham.
Schwinn Loke and Jesse Randall, and a real tussle down the left-hand side. And it's interesting because Loke is the player that has been marked by Randall. De Vries has not been released to go and put pressure on what should be in possession, the right wing back for the Wellington Phoenix.
Driven towards Cosgrove. He can only skim it off the top of his head. I'm not sure I saw a lot of difference between that challenge involving Loke and the Cosgrove Kelly-Heald one. I'm not sure what you think, but they went a different way.
It's been overly diplomatic, Piney. There wasn't any difference between the two. Both are challenges, physical confrontations that you'd expect in a derby. a match laced with the emotion and the volatility that we've already seen.
This one's lashed forward by Armiento. Locas again off on the run, and maybe left a foot in there on De Vries. Schwinn Locas quickly growing into life in the A-League. A starting debut a week ago. Set for a prolonged run in the side with Tim Payne out. How do you assess the early impact of Schwinn Locas on A-League footballer, I think?
Well, I'll step in. I think Schwinn Locas had a really important role to play. Tim Payne is a rusted-on starter for Giancarlo Italiano. More importantly, he's the lieutenant that stands alongside the midfield general and Alex Rufer. So Schwinn Locas, not necessarily a person that's going to provide leadership vocally, but at the moment is demonstrating that the spotlight is not too big for him.
Stand out at the recent Under-20 World Cup for New Zealand and Chile. Played every minute of New Zealand's 3 group games, scored against Egypt. Here's Nazarene with a little swing of the hips. He didn't fall. De Vries, that's off Rufer's outstretched boot for an Auckland FC throw. So Ifainese with 3 goals now this season. He draws level with Max Caputo and El Hassan Torre. Alex Badolato leads the Golden Boot race currently with 4, the Newcastle striker. His next chance against Brisbane Roar tomorrow. Pastrana with a clever little ball forward towards Randall. And Matt Sheridan on the wrong end of a challenge from Louis Verstraete.
We often talk about the teeth of the Auckland FC press, and it's actually led by Louis Verstraete. They set up in a way that wants to create those pressing shapes, but Verstraete's often the man that pulls the trigger and steps out of the line. We saw it this season against Western Sydney Wanderers. He put the ball on the plate for Jesse Randall to find the back of the net. And this time, I think a little bit out of frustration as much as anything, because we haven't seen the Auckland press bear fruit as of yet.
Royal Conchi picks it up on the edge of the area. Mai can't get it under control. Kelly Hill calmly out to Armiento. Ifainese's movement is so interesting to me, you know. He's not a typical number 9, is he? We can get some thoughts maybe from Ife in a moment, but he's just as likely to turn up on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, or dropping deep as he is at the point of the arrow. Phoenix wanted a foul there. Brooke breaks it across to Randall. Cosgrove going outside. Jesse Randall looking to set himself up, or instead De Vries. It all fizzled out there. Randall recycles. Jesse Randall! Straight at Josh Oluwaemi.
Randall didn't quite do one thing or the other there. In a 1v1 up against Matt Sheridan. It's a great ball from Lockie Brooke. That's the benefit of having a left footer in that right-hand pocket. He's just waiting for Sheridan to bite. Instead, he backs off. And that's where the cavalry comes back in for the Wellington Phoenix, and then doesn't set up Francis de Vries either.
Hope you're with us, Ife, just on Ifeanese and his movement. He's quite an unpredictable attacker.
Look, funny, I think he actually picks up similar positions to I used to. I was a 9 that didn't like to play as a 9 and liked to go and pick on the fullbacks. And I think he does similar. I think he starts out on the fullback, the centre-back feels like he's not got much to do, then all of a sudden he's off the shoulder, bang, and he's in between, and who's picking him up? And they can't communicate quickly enough to make sure that someone's grabbing him, and I think he's really good at that. He's quick enough to move off the mark and get into those spots. So I think as the Phoenix players work out how to use him, I think there's more goals in him, and he's had a fantastic start so far.
Great analysis, but all I heard there was that Paul Eiffel failed to follow instructions.
I remember a story that Paul Eiffel's agent told the Wellington Phoenix that he was an out-and-out centre forward. And I remember you got here and you weren't really, were you?
That's a fact, Piney. Yeah, we lied on the CV. It's a bit like how I got this job, I think, as well.
Well, it seemed to work out okay on both fronts. Approaching the half-hour mark here in the derby. A rare moment of breath-catching, but Sheridan now ahead towards Eze. causing problems for Girdwood Reich, who gets the better of him.
That was difficult for Girdwood Reich. Eze had the shape on him, he had the position. Girdwood Reich, though, had the commitment, almost going through Eze to win the ball.
Good passing movement from Auckland FC. Player down. I think it might be Sam Cosgrove who's hit the deck. Auckland no doubt want to put it out, although they don't seem that keen on doing it. Cosgrove is getting back to his feet now, which is the good news.
Well, that's Alex Rufer that's landed a blow on Sam Cosgrove. Look at that line from the Wellington Phoenix. We talked about how Auckland were able to leverage to drive a nail right through the heart of the Wellington Phoenix and that high line, but 30 minutes in, really disciplined, great commitment to the tactic from this back five.
Auckland FC almost playing themselves into trouble, but Pastrata tidies up.
Just going back to Alex Rufer as well, we haven't seen too much of him, but because he doesn't have support in those senior roles, he can't overcommit. He needs to connect this side. And being central is the best way that he can do that, and not backing down from moments exactly like that.
There's another player down for Auckland FC in the middle of Sky Stadium. It's Rufer in on his All-Whites teammate, Jesse Randall. No love lost on this particular stage.
And that speaks to, if Rufer gets drawn out, he's got to win the ball or he's got to stop play. The Phoenix rely on him so much.
So Guillermo Mai was the man down. He's back up now. He, of course, had a very serious injury here in the derby last year. It's about cut his face open, but played on with a headband. A collision with Scott Wootton causing the damage back then. Now there's a man down for Wellington. Lucas Kelly-Hield, I think, is the man who's seeking a bit of treatment.
Well, let's have a look at this, because this is about the 5th or 6th time that Lucas Kelly-Hield and Sam Cosgrove have come together, either in open play or at set pieces. Anytime the ball goes dead, Kelly-Hield gets nice and close to Cosgrove. And that time I think he got a bite back from the big Mancunian.
So they set up Josh Olowaemi is in a very unusual position for this long throw. Wellington deal with it. Roa Conchi gets it away. Well, Sam Cosgrove has played for Barrow Town, Wigan Athletic, Chorley FC, North Ferriby United and many others. He's used to the physical battles. Here we go.
Oh, there's a raised elbow there. Looked more directed towards Isaac Hughes, but this will give us a better angle. Perhaps just a forearm into the face. Not much, but he cannot get frustrated. You cannot go down to 10 in a game, in a derby like this.
Well, it's a shrug of the shoulders for me, Jake.
What it is doing, inserting into the mind of the referee, though, that Cosgrove is trying to work his way into some space off the ball, and the Wellington Phoenix just noting to the referee, hey, keep an eye on this. We want a free kick. We want to vent the pressure before it can get wrapped up.
Randall beats the high line again. It bears down on goal! And Auckland have a second. Jesse Randall, all pace, all power, all precision in beating the high line. Dicked it over the top of Olowaemi. Did Sam Cosgrove get the final touch? I don't think so. I think you chalk that one up to Jesse Randall, and Auckland FC 2-1 ahead.
Steve Corica adamant this man had evolved in the off-season, and that's going to be tight. It's a very tight call. The feet are in his own half, but the shoulder might be leaning into the Wellington Phoenix half. But the evolution in the off-season, it's now out in the open, and everyone is getting to see Jesse Randall 2.0, and it's the pace that kills Matt Sheridan. He can't get back. Again, eyes up, over Olowaemi. It is a deft touch. And Cosgrove's right there to marshal the ball over the line. Are we going to see Auckland FC go 2-1 up over the Phoenix?
I think he's okay. When the frame was frozen, his feet were certainly in his own half. It's just whether any other part of his body had broken that line. VAR will have a look at it. Adam Kersey examining it right now. Second goal of the season for Jesse Randall. And it's given. So Auckland FC restore their advantage.
I think that's Cosgrove from the restart who lined up Schwinn Loke and decided he wanted to run through him. Hot formation from the VAR there. And the player was in his own half. All, importantly, of the player was in the Auckland FC half.
And they'll go again. Jesse Randall having a big say in this game. Brimmer looking for Elliott. Still there for Auckland FC as Josh Oluwaemi just about did enough.
This is smart goalkeeping. It's really controlled from Oluwaemi. He can't come from the cross, and Armiento switches off. Now Oluwaemi has to wait because he's not going to get in front of Lachlan Brook. So he has to gamble. He has to put his hands in the right spot and hope that any touch is going to guide it into his fingertips, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, Wellington Phoenix looking to completely nullify the impact of Sam Cosgrove here. He's completely surrounded. I'll try something else. Now, De Vries can whip it in. Here is Cosgrove! Well, should be three. Should be 3-1. Great cross from De Vries. Cosgrove can't find the target.
Well, in the three preceding derbies that we've seen, Auckland has really ramped up the pressure and possession. They've been in Wellington's territory a lot. And the Phoenix, especially in the third derby, folded. They can't be soft through that defensive central. Oluwaemi either needs to come, or Isaac Hughes and Lucas Kelly-Hill need to get up and disrupt Cosgrove when he's in full flight.
Wellington have come from behind once already today. They're going to have to do it again to get anything from this one. Jesse Randall has started this A-League men's season in very fine form. His pace on display there, as well as his cleverness with the finish. The little dink over Oluwaemi.
All too much for Eze that time. It was him up against Hall, De Vries and Gerwood Wright.
Jake Gerwood Wright was not best pleased there that a free kick wasn't forthcoming after the challenge from Eze.
Just taking breath here as Oluwaemi has the ball at his feet. Where else would you want to be, Piney? 3 goals, excitement, intensity, passion, vibrancy in the crowd.
Some occasion, that's for sure, and Jesse Randall is front and centre of it. Estrada outside him, just has to check his run, but does get across in. Not cleared first time. Hughes gets it away. On the edge for Jesse Randall. Lachlan Brook.
Wellington have looked fragile in the last 5 minutes or so. I think we're seeing the absence of Mandrake James, but what a ball from Francis De Vries. That is all about the homework, the preparation. He gets a half yard, left foot whips around, knows exactly where Jesse Randall's going to be. And from there, it is a one-on-one with the advantage to Randall from the get-go.
Yeah, that finish at pace like that, just to dink it over the keeper. What a skill to have in your locker.
What that reflects is Auckland wanting to get the ball wide, and from there the runners simply go. They need to make sure they're onside, but they realise once that move's been triggered, the Phoenix are going to commit to that high line so rigidly. And in that regard, it actually plays into Auckland's favour, because once they've broken, they're gone.
Wellington get going quickly from their latest free kick. both sides in midfield, but it's with Wellington now. Right, Conchi, Armiento, we haven't seen a lot of him in the first half. Callan Elliott in front of a delighted travelling Port, snuffs it out at the expense of a corner.
Well, that looks like wariness to me by Eze Najarine. We haven't seen much of Najarine in possession recently, but Armiento gets his head up. He can't see a yellow and black shirt, but there were two hovering at the back post. Phoenix a goal down again. They need those runs to get across the defenders.
Fourth corner of the contest for Wellington. Armiento again addresses it towards the near post. Dealt with well by Auckland that time. Shove in the back by Guillermo Mai on Carlo Armiento, so another set-piece situation coming the way of the home side.
Well, one view of this is that Carlo Armiento has bought a free kick here. Another is that Guillermo Mai doesn't need to get that close with that much speed. All in all, can legitimately argue that that's soft.
Either way, it's another chance for Wellington to look to profit at set-piece time. Armiento with half a dozen to aim at in the penalty area. In towards Alex Rufer. He couldn't divert his header goalwards.
This is a beautiful ball from Carlo Armiento. Let's have a look at it. Bends, finds Alex Rufer at the near post, but look at the defensive line. It's in 3 tiers. The uniformity, the collective mindset that we've become accustomed to in Steve Corica's defence was ill-disciplined there.
Auckland FC go looking for a third goal, which really would be fairly crucial. Randall again! Off the post. Oh, Jesse Randall is at the centre of everything good about Auckland FC in the attacking third today.
The second time he's found by Lockie Brook. The second time they've combined for danger. Schwinloke has no idea where Randall is. He's a spectator along with Yellow Fever. And what a cultured attempt from Randall. A player who has already found the back of the net, confidence high, takes that on. Off the post.
Jesse Randall's evolution as a footballer has been so encouraging for fans of Auckland FC, and no doubt for the national coach as well. 5 caps for New Zealand, not named in the latest squad to play in the November window, but with a World Cup looming and in the form of his life, Jesse Randall is absolutely mounting a case. Ife, you've had a lot to do with Jesse Randall. I know you'll probably talk about it at half-time, but it must be very pleasing for you to watch him go about his work like this.
Oh, look, Bonnie, he's already had a lot of ability. He's been a great National League player over the years, but I think this, we're seeing it now, what he can do. He's so quick and he's so composed. I talked about it in the pre-match. When he gets in on goal, he just takes an extra breath, and you saw the goal here. His last touch was the perfect touch because it was so big, and it just sucked all over him. He might be able to get there, can't quite get there, and then it was unnerving. What a finish, and he does that time and time again in training, so it's nice to see that translating now into the game.
90 seconds plus stoppages remaining in the first half. Auckland FC have lost just 2 of their 15 away games in their entire history. Perth Glory and Western United last season. It's quite the road record that they have fashioned.
Just come back to the point about the absence of Mandraker James. The senior figure has the physicality to go up one-on-one with Cosgrove. Just get the sense that his leadership will be vital here for the Phoenix.
More defending to do. as we head into the final minute, and an extra 2 to be added, we're told. Again, Cosgrove and Kelly Heald lock horns. Jake Brimmer putting Dan Hall in a spot of bother there, but the big centre-back was okay in extinguishing the danger.
Both sides showing the early stages of fatigue. They put so much into this first 45 minutes. The Wellington Phoenix showing the mental weight. Been a bit loose in possession. Auckland starting to assert pressure through the middle of the park, recycling it in the Wellington Phoenix's own half.
Confirmation of the 2 added minutes. Conchi through on Vestrada, and that might produce... I thought Ben Abraham was reaching for a card, just the spray to indicate where the free kick should be taken from.
I think Abraham's just looking at that one, gave himself a couple of seconds, but convinced that the first contact was on Vestrada and not the ball, because Conchi's not too far away here. And there we go, misses the ball in actual fact. But just look at Eze, again hovering. Feasts on the scraps, and he was away.
Well, it's been a fairly physical and robust first half. No bookings, though, but plenty of contact between players from both sides. Eze and Elliott have become well acquainted, as have Cosgrove and Kelly Heald. Lifted into a crowded penalty area, dealt with by Hughes. Brook and Vestrada looking to combine. And goal kick results. Well, I think Alex Rufer might perhaps have, in the eyes of some, committed a foul there, and also maybe got the last touch. As it is, it's a goal kick. I think the clues that he's tried to stop it going behind.
That all-important home advantage.
Well, Cosgrove's gone down now under challenge from Rufer in front of the benches, and Steve Corica is apoplectic. Randall slides one into Lockie Brook, who gets the right side of Matt Sheridan. Reinforcements arriving. Brimmer slides it into Mai. And that is an offside flag on this near side. The 2 extra minutes have elapsed. Sam Cosgrove will know he's been in a game.
Just to reinforce the point, with James not able to contribute today, Cosgrove is up against 3 centre-backs, all under the age of 23.
An enthralling first half has its conclusion on the whistle of Ben Abraham. Sam Cosgrove, before most spectators had even taken their seats, had put Auckland FC ahead. Ifeanyi Eze with an absolutely spectacular equaliser before the star of the first half, Jesse Randall, restored Auckland FC's advantage. Half-time here at Sky Stadium. Wellington Phoenix 1, Auckland FC 2.
Hoki mai and all, welcome back to Sky Stadium in Wellington. Well, some matches don't live up to the hype, but that is not the case with this New Zealand derby. Paul Eiffel, the first 28 seconds and we get our first goal.
Look, it's been a mile a minute. It's just gone by so quickly, but for Cosgrove, that's what you want. You want a chance with the goalkeeper taken out of it and just to tap into an empty net 30 seconds in.
That was an amazing first half for this derby. That had absolutely everything.
Yeah, it did. What I really liked from the Phoenix side of it is the fact that they went behind so early, but they went, no, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
You know, this is our home, and they came back into it really well, and a great finish from Eze, which we'll see in a minute. But then Auckland, a little bit more pressure, and then it's a great goal from Jesse Randall that we'll see.
Okay, well, let's look at some of the superb finishes in that first half, starting off with the big man who's been in everything, Sam Cosgrove. Talk us through it.
Yeah, well, look, you can see that they're showing the footage from the kickoff. That's how early this goal was. Couple of play round the back, ball goes into Dan Hall. He's probably thinking, you know, we can knock it around a little bit here, wait for the chances to come, and then all of a sudden, they're in front of goal. So it's a great ball down the side. It's a really good run. Jesse Randall, we talked about in the pre-game.
Yeah.
Can Jesse get his head up and find his big mate Cosgrove? You can't miss him. Look at the size of him. And that's, like I said, that's exactly what you want. A tap in that early. He'll be full of it now. Jesse, the run down the side, that touch is excellent. Another touch to suck the keeper in, and then it's a ball into Cosgrove. He's not going to miss from there, the big man. And what a start for Auckland FC.
Yeah, the high line was exposed very early on, but the Phoenix managed to stay composed and they got one back through their own import.
Yeah, look, you could hear I was down on the sideline, you could hear Chiefy shouting, press, 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 and they were at it, the Phoenix, and they didn't let him have any time to breathe. And when Brimmer gives the ball away here, Eze picks the ball up, and you have a little look here, he has a little look up, sees the keeper of his line, and then he's got to be inch perfect. And with that left foot, we've seen it before over the last couple of weeks. That is a fantastic finish.
That was beautiful to watch.
Absolutely.
And the next goal that we see, 33rd minute, it's your boy, Jesse Randall. You've seen his potential from the early days here in Wellington, and boy, is he delivering on the big stage.
What I love is the smartness of the run. He runs and literally gets his tiptoes inside the half, so he cannot be offside. Then he arcs his run and he's gone. And once he sees grass in front of him, no one in this league will catch him. He is absolutely lightning. Great touches. It's this touch here with his thigh. This touch here leaves him for dead. Oluwayemi comes out, and the finish, like I spoke about in the pre-match again, super composed. Lifts it over the keeper. Cosgrove is there just to shepherd it in.
The VAR had a good look at that one, but all clear. Goal stands 2-1. In the first half. Let's talk about Sam Cosgrove. Him and Jesse Randall have been working so well together, but he is such a physical specimen, isn't he? And he is bullying his opposition from Wellington, who seems to be finding himself on the deck a bit.
Oh, look, he's played in the Championship, he's played in the Scottish Premier League, he's played against some big boys. So coming out here, I was similar, not in size or stature, but it was just a little bit, everybody's a little bit weaker, and I think he'll be fine in that. But what he needs to be careful with is throwing his arms around late challenges, because he will be penalised, and it'll be something he's not quite used to. There he was really smart, used his body well, got underneath Kelly Hild and made him at the... He'll feel that he should have scored there. Big centre forward, ball in the box, stood up ball, get over everybody, head it back to where it came from. Here, you could see his face straight away. He's missed a big one there.
Look, we can't talk enough about Jesse Randall, but we're going to talk about him again because he had another wonderful opportunity.
I don't think there was too much wrong with this. Look, most people would snatch at this. I think he's very measured. He's just tried to get it into the turf, tried to hope the turf will do the rest. Little bit of a curler. So unlucky. Keeper's beat, all ends up, and it goes the wrong side of the post. If that comes back in the other way, there's probably a tap in for Guillermo Mai, who's made the ground up.
I'm sure I have more opportunities coming up in the second half. Let's catch up with Ricardo Ball from Betcher. What are you seeing, Ricardo?
Thanks, Kirst. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what the bookies are seeing. They're seeing an Auckland FC win, $1.22 to win. Phoenix, $15. The draw is at 5s. I think there's more goals coming. Over 2.5 goals in the second half. $4.80. We've already had 3. And what about goal scorers? Local hero Armiento, $6.50. Or the skipper for Auckland FC, Jake Brimmer, scored 2 here last season. He's paying 11s. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Ricardo. Well, we've got our roving reporter here on the ground. Tia McDougall. Tia, where are you?
Mate, I'm just near the yellow fever, and I tell you what, they're not happy, and they're not happy with Sam Cosgrove. He has been giving Lucas Kelly-Hield a bit of a hard time, and he's been doing it right in front of the yellow fever at this goal. They're not happy with him. They're very vocal. I'll tell you who was also vocal, the Port. They're down the other end of the stadium, and they're probably just as loud, which is incredibly impressive. Great atmosphere here. It's going to be great for the second half.
Thanks so much, Tia. This match has absolutely everything. You do not want to miss a moment of the great New Zealand derby. Currently, Auckland lead 2-1.
What a night in the nation's capital, and what a game of football. Season 2, Derby 1, Auckland FC 2-1 ahead at the break. Yellow Fever contemplating life. The Port not there yet, but the happier of the two fan bases. Jesse Randall, star of the show in the first half. Wellington Phoenix will be encouraged by the fact that heading towards their fan base is what they like to do. Sam Cosgrove, public enemy number 1 in the first half for Yellow Fever. He came together with Lucas Kelly-Hield in particular on a number of occasions. So Auckland FC are out, Wellington Phoenix yet to emerge. Let's go down the sideline where Kirsty Stanway is with Wellington Phoenix goalkeeping coach Dylan Cope.
Thank you so much. Yes, Dylan, we'll walk with you onto the field, but that was such an electric first half. What were you seeing?
Not much different from what we expected. They're looking to get in behind early, try and test our high line, but we came straight back at them, which was pretty good. As they're in behind, proving a threat.
Yeah, how did your side stay composed after conceding in the first 30 seconds?
We've come back from behind against Perth. We've shown that we're resolute. No one's mindset changed. I don't think anyone put their head down, just went straight back to business.
You've taken a while to come back out onto the field. What are you talking about in the sheds?
Nothing too different. Corbin's coming on now, so we'll just be looking to use him and Eze behind to cause them a bit of a threat as well. But sticking to the game plan, trust in our system, and we'll be all right.
Thanks so much. Best of luck.
All right, take care.
Thank you, Kirsty. Dylan Cope, goalkeeping coach for Wellington Phoenix. You might have seen back a shot there. Corbin Piper sprinting out onto the grass. So a second half sub for Wellington Phoenix. Corbin Piper has been a lightning rod. And he'll take the place of Finn Roa-Conchi in the second half. Lucas Kelly-Hield was in a battle with Sam Cosgrove. There is Corbin Piper, who provided assists for 2 goals in the win over Brisbane 2 weeks ago. So Piper for Roa-Conchi. How do you expect that to play out as far as formation is concerned? We'll get to that when the game kicks off. Away we go in the second half of the derby. Wellington Phoenix and Gold and Black now attacking the goal to right of screen. That is the city end, the southern end of Sky Stadium. Auckland FC all in white. They'll kick from right to left in the second half. Piper for Roa-Conchi. What does that tell us?
An injection of physicality for the Wellington Phoenix. He's been so impactful off the bench, Corbin Piper, often as part of a dual package with Luke Brooks-Smith, as you see his first touch. But it's that exact foundation that Chiefy will want him to set in the second half. Unorthodox, equally unpredictable, and now Auckland have to deal with the unpredictability of Eze and Piper.
As minutes are being managed, Corbin Piper not able yet to start football matches. 11, 25 and 19 minutes in the first 3 games, 45 plus out here today, but here come Auckland FC, and Randall was in the sights of Louis Estrada before Schwinn Loke stepped in. DeVries and Eze come together, and Eze just holding his right hip, maybe just a dead leg.
Yeah, both players, pretty accidental collision there. DeVries hobbling, but Eze bent over and spot on timing. DeVries is trying to get the ball under control, had a leg raised, and I think it's gone square into the quad of Eze. A player who has been so mobile this evening. You won't want him to have to deal with any sort of limitation, especially when we've talked about Chiefy wanting to go more physical, more expansive in the second half.
So both players getting a bit of treatment. Francis DeVries going to hop on a plane shortly and head off to all-whites duty with Phoenix skipper Alex Rufer as well. New Zealand playing Ecuador and also Colombia in the upcoming window. The Socceroos, by the way, also play Colombia and Venezuela as preparations for next year's World Cup continue for both nations. It's Randall again, Mai and Brimmer.
There's so much going on off the ball at the moment. Checks being left in. Boots being...
There's Piper and Hall. What a battle this promises to be. Hall gets ahead to it as he prevented the corner. Indeed. But Corbin Piper already. Paul Eiffel, if you send Corbin Piper on. What are your instructions, or do you just say, get out there?
Look, I think Corbin Piper's a nuisance, and I think he knows he's a nuisance, and I think he enjoys that moniker, really. Look, he goes on and he'll try and change the game by getting after people, holding people accountable. He'll make runs in behind them. You know, they're trying to turn him into a centre forward. At the moment, it's a bit of hustle and bustle. If he can add a little bit of quality, he can be a really dangerous player in these situations for the Phoenix.
One thing to note as well is that Auckland like to play with the game in front of them. Defensively, they rely on discipline and structure. That time, they were backpedaling. Dan Hall scrambling because of Corbin Piper.
Here's Gijumo Mai down the other end. Cosgrove is furthest advanced. Hughes in the way. And Armiento completes the job. Eze. Now his physicality again is a problem, and he sent Corbin Piper away. Piper away from Hall. Well, what about it? Ball falls to Nazarene. And it is a red card for Dan Hall, and tempers are flaring. Michael Vowd wants a word. Dan Hall, the red card for the denying of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, and Auckland FC are going to have to play the final 40 minutes of this game with 10 men.
Jesse Randall dipped in behind and cut his way towards goal in the first half. Corbin Piper out-muscles Dan Hall, gets the wrong side of the defender and forces Hall's hand. Dan Hall does not want to let Piper in on goal and bundles his way into the back of the number 3. You want physicality, you want expansive play. Piper gives you both in that phase of play. And then afterwards, the frustration, the realisation that Auckland are going to play with 10 men equals a bit of a confrontation, a consequence to the...
I'm not sure Dan Hall can have too many complaints. It might get referred to VAR. Paul Eiffel, what was your view?
Yeah, look, I think I'm surprised. I didn't think Piper could outrun Dan Hall in the first place. He gets in front, and then I think it's a tangle of legs. There's arms all over him. It didn't look enough, but he's done enough to get the free kick and the red card. I think Hall's definitely going to feel unlucky, but I think there was enough contact for it to be a red.
So the question here is Francis de Vries close enough to impact play? So Isaac Hughes has got a yellow in the aftermath of that, but what I think they're looking at here, Ivy, is does play slow down enough to allow Francis de Vries to retreat to then suggest that another defender is in play?
So Adam Kersey is examining the footage as we speak in the VAR booth. The original decision is a red card, a direct red card for Dan Hall, handed out by Ben Abraham. VAR is able to examine this and advise Ben Abraham to perhaps have a look at it and downgrade it. Either way, Corbin Piper has made an instant impact.
So what we're seeing there is Corbin Piper. And the suggestion of a hand pull from Corbin Piper, but the decision has been made. Well, we'll need to have another look at that, because Corbin Piper might have flicked a wrist into the ball to take it forward. What we do know, though, is that there's been denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. And the unfortunate offender is Dan Hall.
Let's keep our eyes on the Auckland FC bench. What do they do? IP, what do you do as a coach? Are you looking at Nando Painika to bring on? Corbin Piper is absolutely loving it out there. He is not taking a backward step to Auckland FC.
Painika on Piney. Painika's right in front of me, just getting the instructions from Corica.
So, of course, Auckland FC will have to take a man off to allow Painika to go on. So, an unfortunate player is going to have to be sacrificed, and it's going to be Sam Cosgrove by the sounds of it. In the meantime, Wellington Phoenix have a free kick. Sam Cosgrove's not going to get to stand in the wall. Instead, he has been withdrawn to his disappointment. But sometimes needs must. Nando Painika, his first appearance of the season, having recovered from an injury which kept him out for a very long time, is now into the fire, into the high drama of this New Zealand football derby.
or drink it in. We've had a bit of everything in this 60 minutes, but there's a lot going on here at the moment. Red card, a goal-scoring opportunity, the withdrawal of the pantomime villain for Wellington fans. Let's not forget that Auckland still have the goal advantage here. Wellington are not yet on equal terms.
Nando Painaka played 45 minutes for the reserves last weekend, 27 of 28 games last season, all of them starts. Is he short of a gallop? I guess we'll find out. In the meantime, Wellington Phoenix are sizing up this set-piece opportunity. Carlo Armiento seems like the most obvious candidate. Kazuki Nagasawa is there as well, and you wonder whether the right-footed delivery might also be an option.
Vald's first big test.
Armiento straight into the wall, but does its job. Nando Painaka immediately making an impact as part of that wall, and it fizzles out. Well, high drama in Wellington.
We'll continue reviewing that energetic display, the phase that we've just seen. Armiento only had eyes for Vald's top right corner. Couldn't quite lift it above the wall.
So Sam Cosgrove has been sacrificed. Nando Painaka joins Jake Girdwood-Reich. The two of them have never played a game of football together, so there's a connection to be forged there. Here's Guillermo Mai and the 10 men. Surprise Wellington Phoenix in front of their travelling support. And Kazuki Nagasawa giving away a rather cheap free kick, it has to be said.
Well, you said Vald now takes on a mantle with much more importance. I'd argue that Guillermo Mai equally needs to step into the spotlight for Auckland FC. They need an outlet. They need someone to win fouls like this. They need the ability to punch back at Wellington, who surely now are going to want to impose themselves in possession, to force Auckland back, to ask them to run.
For the moment, though, some defending to do. Isaac Hughes picked up a yellow card in that melee, incidentally, a few moments ago. Randall, and Oluwayemi was aware just of what was on the mind of Jesse Randall.
Well, a highly prepared Auckland FC side. Been intuitive with some of the build-up play to take advantage of the high line. I would argue that's also been something that has been seen. The way Oluwayemi opens his body up, looks for the cross. Jesse Randall tries to sneak one at the near post. The point before, a lot of emotion, was expelled. Not only the opportunity for Piper, but also what happened afterwards, the melee, the red card, the review. The point being is that Wellington Phoenix cannot get distracted by that lift. They need to control themselves. They have to get back on level terms. That is the mantle that they now need to live up to, and they're up against the best defensive side over the last 2 years in the competition.
But they do have a numerical advantage, let's not forget that. Carlo Armiento looking to capitalise down Wellington's left. Auckland FC have dropped into a very low block. Nazarene. Slide ball pass for Piper, who gets the right side of Nando Painaka. Nazarene again towards Eze. Ifeanyi Eze with eyes wide as the ball drifted just past.
For a moment, Te Whanganui-a-Tara held its breath. That ball drifted into the back stick. Nazarene stands it up, and Eze just seems to stumble as he tries to take off. Perhaps in two minds. Does he try and volley that? Does he go with his head and commit himself? Does neither. And it's a goal kick for Auckland.
what a difference Corbin Piper's made. I remember former Phoenix coach Ernie Merrick talked about how every team needs its panel beaters. You can have artists, but you also need panel beaters. And it was a term of endearment, and that is exactly what Corbin Piper provides Wellington Phoenix.
Let's not forget, there's been a lot made of the Aucklanders that have played for Wellington and are currently playing for Wellington. This is an Auckland Wellingtonians playing for Auckland. This is an Auckland playing for Wellington.
Callan Elliott, Hughes with a diving header. Piper's off after this one as well. Goodwood Reich thought about giving it back to Vowd and then decided on another strategy, and it works out well for him. I wonder how long it'll be before we might see Luke Brooks-Smith introduced. Another attacking weapon. Giancarlo Italiano is stalking his technical area. He sees Rami Najjarine just about regain the ball. Rufa goes in on Brimmer. Forward now, and Randall's off on a run, but Oluwaemi this time sweeping up behind his defenders.
Different dynamic now at play. You can see the pace of the game slowing somewhat. Probably both sides want that. The Phoenix want to settle themselves, establish long phases of play. Auckland equally, they don't want the Phoenix coming at them in waves.
Ball out towards Randall again, doesn't reach him. De Vries charging forward out of defence. Clever from Sheridan to come away with the ball. Unfortunately, his pass doesn't match the initial piece of skill. Carlo Armiento wants everybody to calm down. We've only had an hour, he says. 30 minutes left, plenty of time.
Is this where Auckland's first 3 league games play into their benefit? They've been forged by finals-esque football, high-pressure, tight matches. Now that pressure has been ramped up and a lot more asked of lesser players, fewer players rather.
Lockie Brook does well to win that one back and then sets off down the right.
Well, there he is, the youngster that opened the game up last week, couldn't convert. Is he going to be the game breaker tonight?
Do you normally have one of those gel sachets before you come on? Is that what you do? Here's Brimmer. Lockie Brook pulls it back. Rufer in the way. Callan Elliott. And we're instead going to have an Auckland FC change, and Logan Rogerson is going to get the chance to play half an hour against his former side. Lachlan Brook, the man to be withdrawn, we understand.
Well, one substitute for Wellington has changed the whole complexion of this match. Corbin Piper talked about the depth, the options that Corica can call upon. We've seen one all-white introduced into the back line. We're about to see another.
Nagasawa into the path of Eze. Vowd saves, and he's gone behind for a corner. Not entirely convincing from Michael Vowd, but job done.
It was an awkward character. This time Eze lines up in that central left channel, gets beyond Gerwood right. Peineke retreating, tries to force the angle. He still gets the shot off, and that's difficult. Vowd does well to smother it, to get it away. Perhaps a bit loose with that second attempt.
What a game this is. Nagasawa to take the resulting corner. Wellington's 5th. Short towards Armiento. Away by Peineke, not all the way away. Kelly Heald! Deflected, and Lucas Kelly Heald, who has never scored for Wellington, thought his moment had arrived. Instead, a corner.
Another dangerous ball in. It's congested at the near post. Kelly Hield works it, works the chance, and then he and Nagasawa are there to pull the trigger. A desperate body in the way for Auckland.
VAR are checking a possible penalty. The handball in the area. Ben Abraham will take advice from Adam Kersey. He explains to Alex Rufer what the situation is.
Well, the excitement has been suspended momentarily. Both Alex Rufer and Lucas Kelly-Hield ran to the referee immediately.
To no avail. No penalty is the decision.
What we're seeing there is Nando Peinecker desperately throwing himself at the ball. Does it come off a head beforehand? Is it a natural position?
Corner taken. Schwinn-Loke can't keep it down.
Well, there's the reaction from Chiefy. And what VAR has concluded is that off the ball from Armiento, sight unimpeded, Nando Peinecker has got the smallest of touch with his head before it's hit his arm. You're going to need to get Snicko out for that one, Piney.
The sub can now be made. Logan Rogerson set to make his entrance. Lachlan Brook makes way for Logan Rogerson. 3 seasons here at Wellington Phoenix, during which time he played just 11 games, scored a couple of goals. For Auckland FC, 9 goals in 31, and he'll have 25 minutes to make an impact here.
Possibly his most memorable one was at the end of the derbies last year. That screamer from all of 20 yards. A lot of thinking, a lot of processing being done by the premiership-winning coach.
Yeah, a hat-trick in the derby in round 20 of last season, Logan Rogerson. It took the questionable goals committee to confirm that he had scored the hat-trick and not his teammate Nada Moreno. But yeah, an eye-catching third on that occasion.
There's still plenty of minutes left in this one.
Just a momentary lull. Wellington Phoenix are going to enjoy the significant proportion of possession as 11 men play 10. Auckland FC happy just to drop into a low block, 2 lines of white shirts narrowly pressed together. Just daring Wellington Phoenix to try and unpick their lock.
Such a compact fortification. 2 banks of 4. Guillermo Mo in front. Now the lull, in my mind, is because both sides are adjusting to the different dynamic that this game is now being played under. The Phoenix with more time and space, less room for the runs of Eze. How can they manufacture a new way of getting at Auckland FC?
A bit of claret coming from the nose of Lucas Kelly-Hield. He's going to have to come across and get himself sorted out. So for the meantime, it's 10v10 as play goes on. Loke and Eze trying to combine in a tight area.
see an identifiable centre-back if Lucas Kelly-Hield can't go on.
Under the Saturday night lights, Season 2 Derby 1 has delivered, and there's still a quarter of the game to go. Paul Eiffel, as a coach, when you're 11 v 10, what is the best way to make use of that numerical advantage?
I think it's understanding when you switch to gamble, I suppose. At the moment, they're being given the opportunity to switch the ball around the back, but they've got to, you know, put somebody else into midfield, put somebody else into the top line. Do you start playing the ball up to your Corbin Pipers and look for the bits with the extra body? I think they can look to make subs, maybe some personnel change, get Brooke Smith out there. You need somebody who's going to do something a little bit different. You saw how much of a difference that Corbin Piper made when he came on. He's changed the game for the Phoenix, but I think they need another injection. There's just been a little bit of a lull in the game, and Auckland seem as though they are happy to see this game out.
Piper trying to inject himself again. This may well be the pattern we see, and here is the possibility of a change. It might be Anaru Cassidy, is it, who's going to be welcomed on?
That is Luke Brooks-Smith, and the reason why the centre-back is getting the instructions is because he's going to have a lot of the ball with Auckland sitting off. So the question is, how can he disrupt that first defensive line?
Rufer looks hopefully forward. Lucas Kelly-Hield's now wearing number 50. He frees up Eze towards the far post where Piper is. Back across goal. Gertwood Reich with an important header. So the footage we saw before was Lucas Kelly-Hield getting his new shirt.
When he works it into the path of Eze, his first contribution, having come back on, and Corbin Piper. Talk about 1v1s with one big man. He's departed. Corbin Piper steps into that role, trying to guide it into that near post. It's Isaac Hughes of all people that was there.
Change made. Luke Brooks-Smith, the teenager, the young gun, into the action for the final 20 minutes in place of Remy Najeri. Piper is the target again of this one, causing trouble in and around the penalty area. Auckland can't get it clear. Eze flies in. Where's it going to fall? It falls to Swinloke. Eze has stayed down in the penalty arc.
Full commitment from Eze. Got up high. Nagasawa then forces the issue. Auckland can't clear their lines. Bodies everywhere. It eventually makes its way to Swinloke. It was a tentative hit. Not enough conviction in the contact. Michael Vald's goal untroubled.
Auckland FC hold firm and hold a 2-1 advantage with a numerical disadvantage. Mai and Brooks-Smith. Nagasawa with a clip of the heels. And I think Kazumo Mai might get a yellow card here. Has.
Kazumo Mai wriggling, trying to work something, but look at the shirts around him. His pocket picked by Nagasawa. An errant hand to grab the shirt, working his way into the book.
Hughes into midfield. Who is Wellington's code breaker? Who is their lock picker? Who is their creative spark?
Well, at the moment, the man that we suggested.
Luke Brooks-Smith. Brought it down well, but the cross not to match. It has stayed in as Armiento helps it back in, and Michael Val, not entirely convincing, but effective nonetheless.
Well, two things off the back of that. One, Luke Brooks-Smith has been introduced down the right-hand side. He is in what should be a wing-back role. In the past couple of games, he's been introduced as a number 10, so Italiano clearly sensing that the space is out wide, and that's where the Phoenix might be able to drive a wedge to open up Auckland. And then the second is that Vald was looking directly up into the lights here at Sky Stadium. I'm not quite sure he would have known when that one was going to drop out of the dark.
Lovely from Guillermo Mai, tries to bring Jesse Randall in. He goes to deck. No problem, says Ben Abraham. Ball forward looking for Piper is cut out. Brimmer. He loses his footing and looks to have picked up a shoulder injury perhaps for Jake Brimmer.
Well, that doesn't look good for the Auckland FC captain.
Kelly Heald's delivery is not what he hoped. Jake Brimmer has done some damage to his shoulder here as play goes on. So it's effectively 11 v 9 now. And this is a terrible, terrible sight for Jake Brimmer. I think he's dislocated his shoulder there. I'm not sure we want to see too much more of that.
This is not what you want to see, and not what Steve Corica wants to see. Jake Brimmer. I was thinking possibly that might have been a foul. It was contact by the Auckland FC midfielder from behind. Unfortunately, he's fallen onto the shoulder and now receiving treatment from the physios. Nagasawa, Brimmer in a tussle. I don't think Nagasawa gets any of the ball on that, but Brimmer, you can just see his arm extending out. Unfortunately, he's landed on the arm and the chest and just put so much pressure onto the shoulder.
One of the most combative footballers you'll find. He will not want to go off, not a bit of it. He'll want to continue to lead this side. He will not want to hand that armband over. Special moment here for Dan Edwards, the 27-year-old debutant, played semi-pro in Melbourne for the past 5 seasons, joined the Phoenix from NPL Victoria Premiers, Avondale FC, and while he makes his entrance, Jake Brimmer makes his exit. Felipe Gallegos has already made replacement, the Chilean off the bench, but how lasting will the damage be for Jake Brimmer? Cam Howlison's also going to be introduced.
Stark contrast in resources on the bench. An all-white and a storied player who's played at the top level in Europe, been introduced by Corica, having lost his captain, and as you just said, a debutant coming onto the field for the Wellington Phoenix.
Cam Howlison's going to replace Guillermo Mai. Cam Howlison had time, a brief period of time playing for Team Wellington here in the capital. Howlison on to solidify things perhaps. Special moment for Dan Edwards as well, his A-League men's debut. He grew up just around the corner from Corbin Piper. The two of them knew each other pretty well growing up. They've taken different paths to professional football, but they're out there together.
Fascinating now from a tactical perspective, where personnel will be deployed, where Chiefy perceives the space to be, and then the resolve, the energy needed by Auckland to defend this lead.
Sad sight for Auckland FC fans for the second time in 2 weeks. Their skipper has had to leave the field through injury. Hiroki Sakai a week ago. Jake Brimmer tonight. Two of the senior leaders, the most influential players in this playing group. Plenty still left out there, though. Armiento. Eze's in the area. Rogerson's back defending. And goes through. And it is a red card for Logan Rogerson. Auckland FC are down to 9. And against his former club and to the utter fury of his coach, Logan Rogerson, for that high challenge, has been shown a direct red card. Now they'll check it. They will check it. But Auckland FC are in grave danger here of being down to 9 men.
Well, Rogerson wants to get his head up. He's trying to get the ball forward. He wants to vent the pressure that the Phoenix are placing upon Auckland FC in their back line. We've got a couple of angles of that. It's a committed challenge. Rogerson is waiting. He's wanting the review. What didn't help matters is that it was right down in front of the yellow fever. An immediate reaction.
VAR has had a very quick look at this and confirmed Ben Abraham's initial adjudication. Unbelievable drama here in Wellington. Auckland FC are 2-1 up, but they are down to 9 men. Logan Rogerson joins Dan Hall in Auckland FC's dressing room.
The full spectrum. We're seeing everything tonight.
Can Wellington capitalise? Roofer! Kelly Heels! Piper! Roofer again looking for a teammate. Auckland scrambling. And Efline Eze took it away from Nagasawa with an acrobatic effort. Absolutely breathless action in the capital.
I'm not sure if that sort of reaction against your teammates warranted. Nagasawa had a dead run on this. The Phoenix tried to work it. They wanted a gap. None was coming from Auckland FC, and it results in the spectacular as Eze almost pulls off a bicycle to test Val. It's up. It's Nagasawa running through, and then look at the reaction of Eze.
10 minutes plus stoppages remaining. Auckland FC down to 9, but they hold the lead at the moment. Wellington urged forward by their vociferous support. Roofer's ball doesn't find its target. Piper trying to recycle out towards Armiento. Towards the far post. Edwards. Roofer! Up and over from Kellen Elliott. They celebrate like a goal.
Resilience, resolve, resistance from Elliott. Oh, that's a chance. Roofer waits.
Ball back in play. In the area. Bodies everywhere. Cleared away by Auckland FC. All hands on deck for the Black Knights. 100 metres away, their fans sit in silent contemplation. Carlo Armiento with a rare mistouch.
Well, here's the chance. Alex Roofer on his left foot. Is that creeping in to Vald's top right corner? We'll never know. Kellen Elliott up. Decisive. Committed. And look at the reaction. Celebrations as if he'd scored. And here is the second red card of the night. Rogerson slips. I don't think he's trying to make that sort of contact, but he's extended himself, and the contact does result just below the knee from Kelly Hill.
Yeah, I think you're right about intent, but outcome is the thing, unfortunately, for Logan Rogerson. And Ben Abraham had very little hesitation.
It's the byproduct of desperation. Auckland feeling the moment, hearing this crowd, finding themselves deeper and deeper.
Helped into the area again, headed behind for a corner. Auckland FC desperately defending their goal in front of a rabid yellow fever. Why did it take so long for a New Zealand derby?
Live in the moment, Piney. Look at it. It's tense. They know this is on a knife edge.
Edwards thought about a cross, did cross. Headed back across goal. Edwards is going to get a second crack at it if he can get it under control. Instead settles for the throw.
There is so much room out wide. The Phoenix simply wanting to work an overload, an overlap.
Sheridan in towards Piper. Eze sniffing around. Luke Brooks-Smith is there. Amiento in the area. Bodies on the line. And a high foot. And Auckland soak up a few precious seconds.
Feelings are high. Auckland reacting. DeFries stooping, Amiento with the boot up. He's frustrated. Auckland are able to eat into the seconds that remain.
A big deep breath from Steve Corica. Very little he can do now.
Phoenix again occupy the conceded space. Auckland need to dig deep.
Well, what a story it would be if Auckland FC, with 9 men, can hold off Wellington Phoenix on their home patch. Plenty of work to do before they can take the 3 points with them. They've broken up the latest attack. Edwards flies in. Referee says you've got the ball, you can carry on. Luke Brooks-Smith. Desperate defending from Auckland FC, and they're quite happy to pass it out at the back, which is extremely courageous.
Or was that Hughes that slid in? Won the ball. And it's moments like that where Auckland think they've got a chance. They step in on. Is that going to create space for the likes of Luke Brooks-Smith to get in behind, to create some chaos?
The seconds ticked out. Wellington looking for their first ever point in a derby. They lost all 3 last season. Conceded 10 goals and only scored 2 themselves.
Let's not forget the last time these two sides met here, Jake Brimmer popped up with the goal to put Auckland ahead, and there was another late goal. That man now finds himself on the bench. He's a spectator, imploring his side. Can they withhold? Can they keep Wellington at arm's distance?
Well, Auckland FC are exactly where they want to be at the moment in the opposition half. They go back to their own back fence and then just plant it forward. A pensive Steve Corica, Jonathan Gould behind with a few words to say.
Randall and DeFries keenly aware of where this ball wants to go. We've seen a lot of Rufer on the ball now, directing traffic.
They're trying to free up Amiento over on that left-hand side. Instead, Rufer goes towards Edwards. He's going to have to do well to keep that in. Hasn't been able to. Two and a half minutes, plus stoppages. The seconds will feel like minutes for Auckland FC. But they tick And they tick. And Wellington Phoenix have time as their enemy.
The strain, the levels of concentration for Auckland now. The Phoenix marching forward.
Rufer takes control. Drives forward, ball at feet. They'll use the right-hand side again through Edwards and Brooke Smith. He's going to look at the chance to run at some tired defenders. Rufer towards Piper. Spits out to Armiento. Time to measure across, lots of elevation. Eze. Auckland FC scramble it clear yet again.
Simply a case of delaying, and then once that ball gets into the box, getting numbers there.
Armiento again. Kelly Heald can't beat Vestrada, but he has earned a corner. Vestrada struck on the head. Ben Abraham says, I'm keeping time.
Well, Vestrada lays prone, waiting for treatment. Auckland, they can probably sense that this game is going to tick past the 90. What is the fourth officials board going to say? How long do they need to continue to suffer for?
Before we even get to extra time or added time, another corner to negotiate. The 9th of the evening for Wellington. Auckland FC haven't had one. Nagasawa into a crowded area, and Michael Vowles, to the delight of his teammates, pouches it, clutches it from the Wellington sky.
And he signals the physio. His prize is that ball. Nagasawa, an in-swinger, trying to find Corbin Piper. Val claims, ends up crashing into Piper. You can see there are 2 big mitts on the ball.
We will have 9 extra minutes minimum. Gabriel Sloan Rodriguez is into the action, joining Luke Brooke Smith, the fresh-faced front men. Just 18 years old, Gabriel Sloan Rodriguez. Luke Brooke Smith is 17. Neither born when this football club was. And a challenge on Louis Vestrada there, which has earned the ire of Auckland FC's coaching staff alongside us in the commentary position.
Well, Rufer waiting for Hughes to come through and win that. Instead, he collides into Vestrada. Corica simply asking for this one to head towards the corner flag. Buy us time, buy us territory. Keep the ball away from Vowles' goal. Another 7 minutes.
The last time 9 minutes were added to an A-League match here at Sky Stadium, Oscar Zavada scored in the 99th minute of an enthralling semi-final against Melbourne Victory 2 seasons ago. It has been equally breathtaking out here tonight. Armiento is the obvious choice. Into the area. Rufer. Alex Rufer straight at Michael Vowles.
And that's what's going to happen now. As Auckland retreat to defend the goal, there's going to be space on the edge of the 18-yard. Alex Rufer smartly occupies the point, waiting for the second phase to come, and it does. Chest down, waits for the ball. Unfortunately, again on his left foot. It's creaking, it's groaning.
Rufer tries to find Sloane Rodriguez. He can't quite bring it down, the youngster. Melbourne derby to follow. Don't forget, we're off to Amy Park. Melbourne victory, Melbourne City. The 50th Melbourne derby. If it has even a slice of the drama of the New Zealand derby, then it'll be well worth watching. Don't take your eyes off this one, though. As Wellington come again through Amiento. Howison trying to slow his progress. And does. But it'll be another corner, the 10th of the evening for Wellington.
And it's Amiento who'll be the architect. Sloane Rodriguez jogs towards them. It's the final instruction. Is there a gap? That's now there. That wasn't at the start of the game.
The 9 men of Auckland FC defending again, defending bravely. And it comes! And who had the last touch? Lucas Kelly-Heald was pretty sure it came off to Breeze. The referee agrees.
Well, Auckland FC's third captain in the space of a week, Francis de Vries, named to the all-white squad. Doing exactly what he needs to there. Lucas Kelly-Heald at the back post, 1v1. De Vries enough to see it away.
Yellow fever in expectation. Amiento defend this one in towards the near post, dealt with by Auckland FC. A rather tired delivery, you might say, from Amiento. Wellington retain possession through Rufer. Kelly-Heald on that left foot. No elevation on the cross, but it comes back to Sloane Rodriguez. His eyes lit up as he sensed a headline, Gabriel Sloane Rodriguez. 5 of the extra 9 minutes elapsed.
It's impatient and somewhat imprecise. The numerical advantage not bearing fruit at the moment. A lot of space, as we said, just outside the 18-yard box. Can Wellington move the ball? Can they hit the accelerator? There will be a free man. Question is, can they find him in the time left?
Sloane Rodriguez and Brooke Smith get in each other's way. Jesse Randall thinks he's won the throw. Assistant referee says no, it's the home sides. Rufer again towards Piper. In towards Lucas Kelly-Heald. It'll be yet another corner for Wellington.
Corbin Piper posts up at the back stick, arm out, eye contact with Rufer. But a player that has really stood out tonight, Callan Elliott. He's been up for the task, met the energy of the yellow fever when he needed to.
Nagasawa. Again, Wellington aren't able to get a shot on target. Wellied away by Vestrada. Edwards plants it back in. Amiento's going to have to work to keep that in. He does. Nagasawa helps out. Sloane Rodriguez. Rufer with Edwards. Rufer helps it towards the far post. Brooke Smith is there. 7 of the extra 9 elapsed. Edwards for Eze. And off the head of Ifeanyi Eze, was it? No, Callan Elliott with the final touch. Yet another corner.
The tension, the Phoenix working the ball with a little bit of hesitation. They don't want to be the player that gives away the ball, that lets Auckland off the hook.
A crowded penalty area. Amiento. It falls to Rufer. Eze on the far post, back across by Hughes, and headed just wide by Luke Brooke Smith.
They're fraying. They are barely holding it together at the seams. Rufer wanted his shot. Had to go with the cross, and Luke Brooks-Smith, I don't know how much he knew about that, crept past the post.
We're into the final minute of added time. There may be more after that. Is there one more chance for Wellington? Auckland FC's defending has been Herculean with 9 men. The Port wait to celebrate. It's been a very different derby than the 3 from last season. But is it headed the same way?
The Port now willing the ball forward, hoping that the clock runs down now in the Wellington Phoenix's half.
We've had the extra 9. Still time to play, says Ben Abraham. Into the wide open spaces goes Dan Edwards. Luke Brooks-Smith to run at Callum Elliott. He's won another corner, has he? No, it's off Luke Brooks-Smith this time. Auckland FC are very nearly there.
Luke Brooks-Smith tried to hit the accelerator, but he found the break in Elliott. It's actually Jesse Randall. What a huge night that man has had. Set up the first goal, scored the second, and has continued running, emptying the tank. Such an important intervention there up against Luke Brooks-Smith.
We've had 100 minutes. Auckland FC's derby domination continues. But I dare you to have imagined this. I challenge you to find better sporting theatre than this. New Zealand's A-League football derby delivers yet again. And Auckland FC down to 10 and down to 9. And with their backs against the wall, emerge victorious yet again. Those are championship credentials from Steve Corica's Black Knights. The handshakes are polite. The talking points are plentiful. And the Port, who travelled from the 09 to the 04, will celebrate long into the night here in the capital. It's impossible to summarise it all, but there's your final score. Wellington Phoenix 1, Auckland FC 2. I have no idea where to start, Jacob.
We've talked about the devastation that Wellington experienced last year. Well, now it's for a different reason. The moment was there, the numbers were there. They had